So, this is the first in a series of podcasts about preparations for audit or accreditation, specifically about the methods that we employ to develop our self study, sometimes called a portfolio. It's really a major challenge to be responsible for leading a self study project, and I've had literally hundreds of opportunities over the last 20 years to see how challenging that can be. To see how a variety of universities and colleges, departments, academic programs go about managing and executing that task. They find it difficult both to develop an effective project plan and then to implement it well. I deliberately didn't write how to write and a challenge to write because this is a project, something that inevitably many people will contribute to and which will have, at least in creating the raw materials, many, if at least several authors. In many jurisdictions, there are standards or quality indicators that set out in a range of areas what the accrediting body, which may be a professional body, a national body, a regional body, what they wish to see. And those standards usually cover areas such as governance and management, quality assurance, improvement, the curriculum, facilities, research, and so on. So in many cases, the project will revolve around that structure. And I think it's worth taking a look at that approach. The approach that's most often taken is based upon committee and committees. At the top level, a steering committee. And the task of that group is to oversee and coordinate activities. And it may be to engage in some activities which is a little unusual for a steering committee, to edit the work of others, to bring together the work from a variety of sources with the view of trying to make sure that the overall structure is complete, coherent, consistent, and so on. So there'll be a number of subcommittees, each of which is responsible for converting one or maybe more of those main areas of concern, like those listed above. And those committees will be composed of individuals who perhaps are identified as having some particular expertise or responsibility or experience that's relevant to that area of concern. For example, in the area of community engagement, there might be people with a leadership role in that area, people who are working with students from student affairs, for example, people who are responsible for engaging between academic areas and industries for the purposes of creating internships maybe, but certainly with partners in industry or commerce or business or other organizations outside the organization, outside the institution. And people, for example, who are working with the institution's alumni, and so on. If this sort of model of an overarching steering group and subcommittees, each one looking at particular focus areas, then you're certainly not alone. It's the standard. I mean, in some cases, it's even the recommended approach. But for me, in my experience, it suffers from several quite serious weaknesses. And I want to turn to those in this series of articles, the next one of which will tackle some more details of what this approach, based on steering committees and subcommittees, aims to achieve, and where some of those potential areas of weakness begin to arise, and what, of course, we can do about that.